नैके अमृतत्वमानशुः परिराजते तद्यतयो विशन्ति वेदान्तविज्ञानसुनिश्चितार्था सन्न्यासयोगा यतयसुहृतसत्त्वाः ये ब्रह्मलोके तुपान्तकाले परामृता परिमुच्यन्ति सर्वे नरकं विपाकं परमेश्वरभूतं यत्पुण्डरीकं पुरमद्यसङ्कृष्टं तत्राविदग्रं गगनं विशोकस्तस्मिन् यदन्तस्तदुपासितव्यम् यो वेदादौ स्वरप्रोतो वेदान्ते च प्रतिष्ठितः तस्य प्रकृतिलिङ्गस्य यः परः स महेश्वरः।
तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। दिगम्बराय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय।
सहस्रशीर्षा पुरुषः सहस्राक्षः सहस्रपाद स भूमिं विश्वतो वृत्वा अत्यतिष्ठद्दशाङ्गुलम् पुरुष एवेदगुं सर्वम् यद्भूतं यच्च भव्यम् उदामृतत्वस्येषानः यदन्नेनातिरोहति आदिश्च प्राणात् वायुर्जायत नाभ्यः आसीदन्तरिक्षम् शीर्ष्णौ समवर्तत पद्भ्याम्भोभिर्विश्रोत्रात् तथा लोकागम् अकल्पयन् वेदाहमेतं पुरुषं महान्तम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसस्तु पारे सर्वाणि रूपाणि विचित्य धीरः नामानि कृत्वा विवदन् यदास्ते धाता पुरस्ताद्यमुदा जहार शक्रप्रविद्वान् प्रविशस्यतस्रः तमेवं विद्वान् अमृत इह भवति नान्यः पन्था अयनाय विद्यते यज्ञेन यज्ञमयदन्तदेवन्ता विद्यते यनाय प्रजापतिस्सरति गर्भे अन्तः अजायमानो बहुधा विजायते तस्य धीरा परिजानन्ति योनिम् मरीचीनां पदमिच्छन्ति वेदसः यो देवेभ्य आदपति यो देवानां पुरोहितः पूर्वो यो देवेभ्यो जातः नमो रुचाय ब्राह्मणे रुचं ब्राह्मं जनयन्तः देवा अग्रे तदब्रुवन् यस्वैनं ब्राह्मणो विद्यात् तस्य देवा असङ्कषेः व्रीश्चते लक्ष्मीश्च पद्योः अहोरात्रे पार्श्वे नक्षत्राणि रूपम् अश्विनौ व्यातम् इष्टं मनिषान अमं मनिषान सर्वं मनिषान संददातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति।
And along with me, few of his devotees invited him to come to Chennai. He took to sannyas at a very early age of 20 years after completing his graduation, and with able guidance from his Guru Swamiji, who is also called Shri Babaji. Babaji underwent a 5-year tapas from at the age of 40, from 1994 to 1999 in Shivarudra ashram to discover his self. In other words, to attain Sakshatkaram or enlightenment. Now he keeps traveling throughout the world and also has weekly Zoom classes and Q&A sessions with his devotees to teach the art of Jangama Dhyana, the timeless meditation technique. Few of the benefits are like you will have better concentration at work, better control over your emotions, and many scientific papers have been published with proved benefits such as lower stress levels, lower blood pressure, ability to come out of depression, etc. Most of all, after my frequent interactions with Babaji, now I am able to clearly understand what is God or self, how we created our own imaginations or illusions through our own thoughts, and why it is important to go back to our home, that is the self or single universal Atma. My personal experience is that doing regular yoga and meditation enables one to achieve more purity of mind. Purity, according to me, has to be felt inside by slowing down the speed of thoughts. This cannot be achieved only by going to temples or reading books or performing rituals, etc. I have experienced that more we engage in our day-to-day activities, the more is the speed of our thoughts. And the more we do, and the more we are always in the relative field. That is where everything changes. In our education in schools and colleges, we are taught several things, but not about what is a thought and why it is constantly changing and creating more and more imaginations and illusions in our mind, and what is not changing, etc. What is not changing is the self or Atma, in other words, the still and silent mind inside us, which has the ability to keep a distance away from thoughts.
Tvātītam gagana sadrusham tattvamasya. If your mind turns into the imagination of divinity, then you get to see wherever you look, you can see the divine's presence, whether in the temple, inside the Garbhagriha, where a stone sculpted idol might be kept, but to our imagination, the divine is there means we pour our bhava into that. Then our mind becomes purified with the imagination of divinity. So application of the mind is important when you are into imagination. Imagine about the divine, about the all-pervadedness. Then see whichever is all-pervaded, everywhere, that must be the divine. If we want to believe our ancient sages, when they said it is omnipresent, omnipotent, apart from this. So then we have to see whatever is all pervaded, it cannot be simply an ordinary existence. So like this we go on imagining. Then every imagination can become very beautiful. Where we get involved into the worldly things, forget God and get involved into unhappiness, stress, cravings, when we forget in the imagination about the divine and try to imagine opposite about the worldly things, other things, instead of having thousands of wasteful thoughts and imagination, it is into one particular thought of the divine. It becomes concentrated. Then eventually, with the help of a guru, one can try to understand why and how we have to overcome all type of imaginations, good or bad, positive or negative. After talking about all this, when we try to teach meditation, we come to the point, and many times I have told, you see, standing when you think in your mind, this world is very good, beautiful, lovely, then also mentally you are getting involved. Away from your real self, that is real divinity. Or you call this world as very bad, dangerous, treacherous, anything. Then also mentally you are getting involved, away from your real self, that real divinity that is within you. So that because of this, you need to overcome all types of imagination. Rise above these dualities is very, very important. If you want to experience the divine as it is, your real self as it is, because that real existence of the divinity is beyond all imaginations. Brahmanandam Paramasukhanam. It is supremely peaceful when you remember that, when you merge with that. That's what the meaning of the meditation. You pay attention to. Just now, you are preoccupied with it, your own imaginations in the mind. So that's why the mind is unable to watch or observe or understand or know about the truth because it's preoccupation. Just like you are sitting in a theater in front of a television and you are preoccupied with watching the movie and your consciousness has gone there totally, perhaps you would have forgotten you are just sitting there and watching, nothing is happening to you. However, it would appear as if some calamity has happened to you. Sometimes you have become a hero, you are panicked, you are excited and so on. All this because you are watching a movie. So that is the preoccupation. So now you need to get rid of that watching the imagination of your own to know the truth. That's what I'm talking about, the consciousness of your own existence. That is there in your mind, in your inside, apart from the millions of thoughts. All other millions of thoughts are imaginations. It appears as if it is there, and it appears it is not there. Vasishtha tells you it is there and it is not there. It exists and it does not exist. It is void, but it is absolute. Such an amazing thing is the ultimate truth, that the self is. That thing you cannot make disappear. Quietly you go on meditating. My Guru said, for better understanding, when you are able to keep the mind quiet and just focus, is not into any type of imagination, no thinking. As Adi Shankara says, when you come face to face in your consciousness, and when that consciousness of yours is not into any type of imagination, it is totally silent. Know that existence. At that time, what you experience as an existence is the truth of existence. It is not an imagined thing. It is always there, and that is you, your real self. So like that, so when everything collapses, disappears, you cannot make yourself disappear. Probably by observing like this, those sages gave us in Upanishads and Vedas that the self has eternal, immortal existence. And Bhagavad Gita also, as Shri Krishna tells, no weapon can slay, no fire can burn it, no water can soak it. Once years ago, my Guru gave that book. If you read this Yoga Vasishtha, can understand, you would have read all books and understood everything. It talks of time and space and mind's imagination as the barrier to know the truth. Once you overcome this imagination, that means many times people want to know through intellectuality. Intellectuality can be very useful in this world. Judgments, analyzations, good, bad, positive, negative, everything is needed. But to know that truth, you have to stop this. That is what the practice of meditation. I was telling what my gurus told about meditation. Like that, when you are able to keep your mind or consciousness quiet and focused, quiet, remember this word, it must be silent. It should not be a chatterbox. It should not be imagining. It should not be analyzing. It should not be making any judgments. So many are sitting here. We should not be making any judgment. Who is good man? Who is bad man? What do we know? We don't know the mind of anybody. The yogi never makes any judgments at all. That's why he is able to abide in the self. If the mind is making judgment, you end up in imagination. Oh, this foe is not my friend. He might be a good friend, but he might appear as a foe because your mind imagines. So that is the tamasic svabhava. Means we create a sort of ugly situation for ourselves. That is what has happened when we have forgotten our real self. So many millions and billions of emotions that trouble you. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪೂರ್ವ ಜನ್ಮത്തെ ಬೇರೆ தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும், 50 ஜென்மத்தை வேற தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும், அது ஒரு இல்னஸ். இந்த ஜென்மத்தில் இருக்கிற எமோஷன்ஸே போகணும், இருக்கிற ரிலேஷன்ஷிப், நடக்கிற விஷயங்களோ, that is good enough to trouble us our whole life. We don't have peace. So many things, myths and superstitious things in these spiritual things have also cropped up. But to overcome, to know the truth, you have to experience the truth. You have to watch that one. It is within you. It is you yourself. You have to look back to yourself. When the mind becomes quiet, automatically its attention goes to itself. As I was talking, mind has consciousness and energy combination. Consciousness means wherever you apply your mind, your consciousness, you become aware of that. When you are watching me, consciously if you are able to pay attention of what I am talking, it is so simple. The truth is, we have made it so complicated. It is just like that, it is there. This is all what we have to watch and understand. Become quiet. That's why a master always trains the disciple to become quiet mentally. A certain thing that which has gone wrong, we need to rewire properly first. Then you can make the electricity flow in that. All short circuit wires need to be properly wired, set right, rewinding has to happen in the mind. So thus, you become the master of your mind, then you start using your brain in this work. You won't become a victim of your brain's reflections. I have always told, a brain is a wonderful organ biologically, but it can be a very good servant, a bad master. No, servant is gone. He might be a good person, but we start depending on the servant for each and everything, and we forget that we also can do anything. We always depend on one. So then the servant comes and tells her, யாரோ வந்திருந்தா சார் உங்களை பார்க்கறதுக்கு முடியாத போயா நான் தொட்டு விட்டேன் அப்படின்றார். See, the servant's job is just to inform you, a certain person has come, sir, what is your orders, what do you want to do? Then we have to decide whether we will meet him or not meet him. That the servant himself will decide that you don't have to meet him, I have sent him away and I did it. So that is what happens when you totally depend on the servant. That's what a brain is, like a computer. It simply reflects. It cannot tell you what the truth is. It is for you whether you are going to see the truth, use the brains. So if you control your mind, if you practice meditation, that's what is the usefulness in this world. You can use the amazing organ brain, and thus you can be a genius. Anything you do, no problem. You do your business, you do your job, you become a sports champion, Anywhere you work, you can be working like a champion and remain unaffected. Nothing will affect you. There's no more calamities in the mind, no more unhappiness, no more tension, no more fear. You know the truth. That's why you are able to keep quiet. So that is why it is recommended that you practice this meditation and know the truth yourself. That's how our master. He spoke very little. After 12 years tapas, he spoke, you have to meditate. He insisted on sadhana. Without sadhana, you can never know the truth. You must do sadhana. People ask me how to understand the impermanence of the world. You see, let us not bother about illusion just now. It exists, it doesn't exist, so many arguments. We may not be able to prove either way. But at least one thing we can understand, this world is impermanent. That's why spirituality alerts. A thing that which is impermanent, including your own physical body, how can it give you a permanent happiness? As Nachiketa wanted that peace and happiness, not just for 50,000 life cycle, not just for 20,000 years, always, once for all. Wars to happen so that they can sell weapons and earn revenue. So where the wars has continued, conflicts have continued, we haven't achieved peace in the society. Many times sages have come, saints have come, have spoken about peace. In this world, if we human beings do not behave properly, we have tremendously advanced through science and technology. Wonderful, that is always helpful, but have forgotten spirituality. That is the reason we have not achieved peace for ourselves, for others in the society. At the end of the day, it is the mind which has to handle utility of all the things we have discovered and invented. But if we don't have control over our mind, we end up gossiping whole day with a mobile phone. Mind absorbs, further imprints. Like one thought goes, it gets evaporated, another thought is absorbed. Hen out of the egg, egg out of the hen, a circle starts happening. Until skillfully you don't withdraw one of them, then the process doesn't stop. That's what the basic idea here. So you have to keep quiet and just watch. Then in due course of time, after long practice, depending on your determination, your understanding of the need, and when you want to do it, then you can achieve silence of the mind. That is when you will be able to notice that consciousness of existence. You will also realize that infinite is what you are actually. Just now the attention has shifted consciousness to the body, giving you the body as yourself in the consciousness. It has to revert back to itself in that infinite. Infinite means, like you see, clue is your own mind. Nobody has seen the mind through the naked eyes. Yet everybody knows and recognizes based on the thoughts and visions that are there. My mind wants to do this, I want to go there, that type of thing. But what the mind itself is, what is that infinity? Consciousness and energy. It is invisible, yet it is there. Because that is you. You feel that you exist. So these are the mantras we teach. Dedication, discipline, and patience. Dedication means you set a priority. I need this, I must do this. I must go and listen to Babaji, I must sit with him. Then you can take out time. Otherwise, you can give 100 excuses also. I need to go there, I will come some other time. Sometimes naturally things may not be possible, but you must try sincerely. That is dedication. Discipline, if you are disciplined, every day without fail at that time you will practice. Abhyasetu Kaunteya. When Arjuna said that the mind is the most slippery, Manas Chanchalam Astiram. How to control this mind? By practicing, Arjuna, by practicing again and again, repeatedly, daily, without fail practice. That practice is the mantra which can make you perfect. And have patience. Mind has gone out of control. It will take some time for it to come down and cool down. Never give up hope. You can achieve it. Never start thinking this is not for me. Those sages practiced and achieved. Any human being, when he practices, when he goes to medical court, after that he becomes a doctor. Before that he was like any other ordinary human being. When he goes to engineering college, after engineering college he becomes an engineer. Like that, everybody becomes after that. Not before that. We were all born like human beings. We didn't have any two horns specially. But the dedication, discipline, enthusiasm, we wanted that. Then we went for that, then we achieved. After achieving, you become a saint or a yogi or whatever it is. So any one of you can become like that, achieve if you want that one. And you can be in a normal life. You don't have to take sannyas, everybody. It is a way of life. You become a householder or take a sannyas. Whoever wants to do that. But sadhana is important for everybody. Just by wearing a saffron clothes, you don't become self-realized. After that, the sadhana starts. You have to do sadhana and achieve. Remember this point and practice. As Mr. Narayanan said, we conduct Zoom meditation classes. If you have a WhatsApp number, you can make somebody write, note down. You can give it to Mr. Narayanan. And if you can forward, then we send the link on every Saturday in the evening, 1 hour of meditation. And we encourage people to ask questions on this topic of spirituality. They can ask questions also. Question and answer session also happens. And other than that, I am available on email. We have website, on YouTube, so many things. All my teachings, question answers, everything is presented. Facebook also is there. If you use the name Shivarudra Balaji, the things will pop up in the computers. Like that you can practice. We have an app also available for app stores and Android also. Shri Babaji. It is free to download. To download, it has about my teachings and also time capsule for meditation, in which in my voice I have instructed what you are supposed to do in meditation. Then you can set the time for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 hour to 2-3 hours, whatever you can sit down. And after the end, for that duration of time, there will be silence when you meditate. Then at the end of 20 minutes or 1 hour, the bell will ring. And in my voice, I have chanted a prayer to wake you up. So like that, you can practice keeping that also. It could be quite inspiring. And some techniques, some tips, everything is given in that one. And I appreciate all your participation and sitting with all the patience to listen to me. Now for some time, if you have any question about spirituality, meditation, want to know more, based on my tapas experiences and whatever my guru taught me, I'll be happy to elaborately answer and try to clear your doubts. When you are able to sit for 1 hour and keep the mind totally focused in between eyebrows or any one point and quiet, that is known as real meditation. So till then you are trying to meditate. Like that, when you are able to keep your mind quiet for 8 to 10 hours in a stretch at least, then one is able to do tapas. The tapas starts. So longest stretch of ability to keep the mind quiet with all the patience is the tapas. ரெண்டு மூணு விஷயம் சொல்றேன். One important, கடவுள்னா it's not any human figure. Probably like you would have seen movies or stories, imagination, who is sitting in the space somewhere in any loka. கடவுள் is an all pervaded, எல்லா இடத்துலையும் சர்வ வியாப்தியா இருக்கிற ஒரு சுப்ரீம் கான்ஷியஸ்னஸ் ஆஃப் எக்ஸிஸ்டன்ஸ். அதை தான் கடவுள்னு ரெக்கக்னைஸ் பண்ண. எதுக்குன்னா இப்போ காயத்ரி மந்திரத்துல பர்கோ தெய்வஸ்ய தீமஹின்னு சொல்றாரு. அப்படின்னா நம்ம மனசுல if we adopt that remembrance or meditation of that divinity, it can wash away our unhappiness and sins. Unhappiness na puriyadhu, sins na not the sins that we humans have adopted in the society. The more that you have forgotten about yourself and come away in imagination, that is a grave mistake, like a sin. After wash out pandrathu, that is what is known as divinity. Clue is your own mind. Its ultimate truth is what is divinity actually. Adinna atte the same divine has manifested and given darshan to devotees who are great sages and tapas panninavalukku in different forms, generally like a Vishnu or a Shiva and the depending on your own resolutions. When you do tapas, your mind becomes 100% concentrated and the mari or manifested darshanam kadikila. So that is inexplicable. Edu eidi solli kaata mudiyada, and at that time is totally dumbfounded and your mind would have merged where you cannot imagine anything at all. You have to experience to believe. It is something like, if you ask me, have you measured the space? Space நீங்க மெஷர் பண்ணிருக்கீங்கன்னா நான் சொல்ல பிரயத்தனம் பட்டா போய் சொல்றேன்னு அர்த்தம் இல்லையா? ஆமா நான் பிரயத்தனம் பட்டையா அது இத்தனை 50 feet 50,000 feetன்னா உங்களுக்கு புரிஞ்சுடு பாபாஜி போய் சொல்ற அப்படி. அந்த மாதிரி தான் கடவுளை பத்தி சொல்ல ஆரம்பிச்சேன்னா அது வெறும் ஒரு இமேஜினேஷன் டைப்.
Corona virus, COVID-19. So some of it is beyond our human understanding and comprehension. Scientists, they give one explanation for it. Then there is, some people say there is a political angle, that it was not a leakage, it was not an accidental leakage, but it was maybe manipulated act from somebody in China or whatever, right? So, but as such, the world as such and humanity, humankind especially, as compared to all other species, we have suffered a lot, right? So many lives have been lost. Then even people who have been home confined, there is a psychological effect. People are, it is almost like being within four walls, whether it is work from home or online schooling or whatever it is. Humanity has suffered a lot. Many lives have been lost. People have lost their parents, relatives, and otherwise the whole humanity, most of human race has been confined to four walls for 2+ years. And today, by God's grace, or if I can put it that way, we are able to meet here and have this in-person gathering. So, why is this nature being angry with humanity, Babaji, or God being angry with humanity? Why is it that we are having to go through something like this, which is not fully which is not within human beings full comprehension? And even now, we do not know whether we are fully out of it. They say there was a third wave in India in January. They said there will be a fourth wave in June, but now most of us have taken third dose of vaccine, booster vaccine, and so on. Even now, we do not know whether we are fully out, because they continue to report increase in numbers and so on. So, why is it that we are having to go through this amount of suffering? Different people at different levels of suffering. I just wanted your insights on some of this.
The divinity is in total Mahasamadhi, total stillness, blissfully unaware of so much is happening due to God. Many times I have answered, this world, this universe is happening due to God, but not according to God's wishes. Something like the sun is there. Sun has no such wishes that my light has to go only to the people of India and not to the people of China, and you won't have such differences. Whichever object comes in front of the sun, they get the light. This is the truth. In the same way, divine also. Now the creation is impermanent, which contains both good and bad. There are so many beautiful things which are very good for our health that divine has provided, from fruits, vegetables to so many things. And in ancient times we have read some of our great Ayurvedic doctors, which some names are there, when one of his gurus asked, please go around the world and see if there is any such plant or tree which is not useful to humanity. He went around, he had such beautiful knowledge. He says there is not a single plant which is not useful to our humanity. We have to gain knowledge, do research properly, and utilize the nature that is happening. This is one thing. As you are talking, none of us really know what caused the COVID, whether any human beings deliberately did it to make others suffer. That is also possible. Humans are always into this. They cannot consider about each other. They are jealous of each other. Since childhood, I have wondered, why can't humanity live for each other instead of against each other? This is one sadness amongst humanity. As we are talking, some are natural calamities like a tsunami, a flood, or an earthquake. These things happen because the impermanence. It is going to happen. The earth is today there. It can come to an end tomorrow or can go on for 1 billion years. Nobody really knows exactly. In science or spirituality, anywhere, this is the truth. But the one thing, we all watched these 2-3 years. Both we have seen. In some front, in hospitals, in some places, fraudulently, people exploited the poor ones who are ill to earn their money. This is so sad about humanity. On the other side, many people helped also each other, sacrificed, they distributed food, they went and served the ill also in spite of the warning, nobody should go closer to each other. So that was the thing. And many people suffered, as we all know that one. They couldn't see their relatives dying, they couldn't go and see the body also, it had to be exposed. So both are there, life is a mixture for us. Permanent, finally, it is impermanent. Once in a life cycle opportunity is there, having born as human being, we have a better brain and discrimination power, what is truth, what is untruth, what is permanent, what is impermanent. When time is available, we must try to realize the truth. And when things go out of our hand, if we have nothing to do, graciously accept. But humanity, we have seen their courage, their struggle, they're ready to face the challenge and overcome. All the history, so many illnesses we studied when we were young. We saw plague, cholera, and so many other things. Then we got to see cancer and then HIV things, and now the COVID. COVID doesn't seem to be going away. Some people say you have to live with it. We have to live with it finally. That courage is needed to face the challenges. This is what is my opinion. And finally, we all learn to consider about each other, love and honor each other, practice spiritual sadhana, know our real self, which is beyond all these calamities.